We are back for the second half. Wow. Ooh, this time, I think we might have to move to 2 hours because I got a lot of content to share, and I don't know if I'm going to get to all the pieces with all the commentary and stuff like that. But are you following what I'm saying, Miss German Chocolate, with all of these artists? How like I know that you were born in
Hmm.
and I know you're in Germany, but how popular were Prince, Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, Whitney Houston in your country?
Michael Jackson, very popular. He was in Brazil also and had a very beautiful video clip there. This is They Don't Care About Us. It was
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
production was there in Brazil, right? I
Mm-hmm.
grew up listening to Michael Jackson because my parents, it was something that all the time when he launched a new video, it was like, I don't know, an event in Brazil, yes, everywhere. Whitney Houston, I also know her work. She was also very popular in Brazil. Also Black people, yes, we always, in general, I would say we follow a lot the Black community in Brazil and artists. This is what impacts our experience that, the Black artist community from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Prince, of course, is also a known name there.
Right.
I know just some songs, but these folks, they are well known there, right?
Yeah.
But all these polemics surrounded by their death is not something that I think it's talked this way, how you are exposing here. At
Yeah.
least with this kind of view, I just could understand because, of course, I'm not from this field.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm just an audience. Okay, if I like the artist, I will listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't care what they do in their private life if I like the content that they produce.
Right.
But this polemic involving their deaths or
Right.
assassination, how we will describe, it was something that is not known there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
what I think, it
mm-hmm.
makes sense what you say,
Mm-hmm.
although when people, regular people like me, uh, don't understand how the business work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We will describe that, okay, crazy. At least Michael Jackson, I wouldn't say, but Whitney Houston, she was a drug addicted. Yes, it was a fact.
Yeah.
So people will tend to connect her death much more with her drug addiction, what was a fact, than something behind the doors that the
Let me say this, right? People, I mean, I know crackheads who I've known for years, and they didn't overdose a lot. Now they have something called fentanyl that people are ODing off of, and that is, and it really has impacted other communities. One thing about, I would say, and this is a general statement for like the drug users that are black, and that they know how to pretty much regulate or control what it is that they're doing. I think people who know people use drugs, it makes them a little bit more vulnerable. So if you did want to, you know, unalive them, it would be easy, and it would be easier to sell it to the masses of people because people know them to use drugs. So all you have to do is give someone, a hot level of cocaine or crack, or give them a bad batch of something, and then guess what? They're just gone. That happens with a lot of actors and other people as well. But it's interesting. I'm saying that it's possible that, and the difference is that all of these people have some things in common, that they were millionaires. Not only millionaires, they were top tier performers. Like excellent. They had a lot of handlers and all that. But but also the thing that connects Prince and Whitney Houston and all these people and Lisa Left Eye over, they were critical. They were critical of the industry. There's a lot of people who are junkies and they don't die, and they're in the industry, whatever, or whatever, they get help. There's something called ibogaine that people go and they get. Whenever you see artists who really go out on a deep end, and all of a sudden they get their lives cleaned up, and then they come back, and people almost forget how drug addicted they were. I mean, one thing I think about is the guy who plays Tony Stark in Iron Man, Robbie Downey Jr. His antics in Hollywood was legendary in terms of his drug abuse and addiction. He was able to get help and access and come back and to be. He is in fact one of the richest or highest paid performers. See, so you can see that when certain groups of people get addicted to drugs, they're able to bounce back, recover, maintain their name, maintain their wealth, and their reputation. Right? Us,
Right.
when the difference, I think, when you look at Prince, you know, if I was a detective and I had all of them on my board, and I'm trying to tell, I'm saying, wait a minute, there's too many common denominators that these people not only was rich and they had other and they owned other people's publishing and other artists, but they were very Prince was very critical of the industry and how they went broke. Matter of fact, let me play this clip
Hmm.
real quick about Prince. Hold on.
You know, like Mariah Carey just had this big $20 million. Like that's like a huge deal, right?
So you feeling that?
No, well, what I mean, I don't understand. What the public sees the word $20 million an album. Well,
Well, let's see. Do you all think that's a good deal?
what? I mean, tell me why. I mean, what am I missing?
Okay, let's do some math.
Okay.
If
You do math like that?
kinda. If you sign me,
Okay.
you signed me to a record company
Right.
or a record deal, let's suppose you have a record company.
Right.
How much would you give me? The album sells for $18, right? $18.
Whatever, yeah.
All right. How much of that would you give me?
Well, I don't know how it works.
Well, no.
Half?
Half? Half sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Check this out. If I sell 1 million copies, I'm gonna have $10 million, right? Roughly $10 million.
Right.
If I sell 2 million copies, I got $20 million.
Right.
If I just sell 3 million copies, I got $30 million. Now who has the biggest record deal?
Oh, I see. Yeah, right. Okay.
Right?
Right.
So Mariah kind of got screwed.
I like that. I like that little simple math.
Hmm.
I like that simple math. How he really just broke it down, like in terms of the percentages and how much they really get, and how they really become, as Prince would put it, and he had, I think, tattooed on his face "slave" for a while, because he wanted to bring attention. And now remember, these are prominent artists. These are the cream of the crop artists, and they're getting screwed. So you can only imagine what other artists who are also on the label or similar labels are getting in terms of a share. There's another group called TLC, one of my favorite groups.
I know, I like them. Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
and
I
how
really
they.
love them. Yes.
Let's take a look at what.
Okay.
Trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you.
Yeah, and it's interesting how she ended up dead as well when she's saying that on a platform at an international music festival, saying, and you know, a lot of artists, they don't get like when to get on stage and say I'm broke. It's not a good look, as people would say, right? She didn't care. She went up there and was like, look, we broke. We doing all this work and we hustling and we killing ourselves. I'm young and I'm broke. And so she was a blunt about this, and that was shocking. I just want people to know that, particularly especially at that particular time, while she was on LaFace Records, that really, that made a shockwave. Although people really are broke in the industry, and others were, you just didn't say it. It was something you don't say out loud, and Lisa said it out loud, and I believe she paid for it with her life. But let's hear a little bit more.
All right. This is how a group can sell 10 million records and be broke. And everyone, get ready to do your math. When we first started out, we were kind of cocky. Okay, there are 100 points on the album. TLC had 7. Every point is equal to 8 cents. All right? 7 times 8, 56 cents. But as time went on, we learned a lot. That means every time an album gets sold, TLC gets 56 cents. So 10 million records, $5.6 million.
But even before she finished, I want to say something. Albums back then went from anywhere between $13 to like $18, right? So when you think about 86 cents, where is all the bulk of the rest of that money going to? So they get 80 something cents, and they have to split 3 ways, right? And like I said, people don't understand when they say you sell one album, people are talking about $20, and they're getting like not even $1 of the 20. So I'm gonna let it say.
Seems like a lot of money. Well, it's not a lot of money when the record company has spent $3 million to record your album. And in the record business, we pay all costs back to the record company. We pay recording costs, video costs. So now we have $2.6 million left. Well, guess what? When you have that much money, you're in about the 47, 48, 49% tax bracket. So that immediately gets deducted to $1.3 million. Then you split the rest 3 ways. You got about $300,000 apiece, if that much. Okay? $300,000. I can buy a nice house with that. And what am I going to pay my bills with?
You know, so she was just bold enough to come out, but there are a lot of artists who probably had worse deals than that. I happen to know of an artist where he came in and he got a record deal, and the people at the record company said, "Don't come back. You're just going to get this advance, and that's it. You can keep all your money that you make from performing." And this is why artists have to perform, and they have to continue to perform until their legs fall off. Because that's the only money that they'll ever see. Because if their record goes platinum, triple platinum, they don't get to see that. It's a loan scheme. And, I'm so grateful that now there's shows like the Tantrum Artist Management Show on the GoPro Radio Network. Big shout out to Dreamcast McFly. And what they do is they show artists where they can get rid of these middlemen and these vampires that really suck the blood of the artists. These people have zero talent. They have no talent. They have no real skill. Their talent is stealing. It's theft. Stealing the art. The lifeblood of some really, really phenomenal performers. Now, when we go to and we think about Whitney Houston and Prince and I don't want to leave out Luther Vandross. People say, yeah, the guy, he's heavy set. He has all these other issues. But I would like to see, ideally, a People's Commission to do a real, because I don't know if you noticed what Lisa Left Out also said, to talk about how even the government, in terms of the way that they are taxed, just like everybody else. So they are already getting crumbs, but their crumbs are taxed just like any and everybody else. And nobody has ever said, wait a minute, this practice is draconian. This has to stop. There should be some minimal guidelines and all this other kind. That's not happening. That doesn't happen. They don't have hearings on this. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this show and focusing on the industry, because there's been a lot of attention on, especially of late, on P. Diddy. There's a lot of attention on, Suge Knight, like, the black executives or black people who are attempting to emerge. And I also have a theory on that. One of the reasons why Suge Knight had to be taken down is because a lot of people don't know behind the scenes, and you're going to hear this maybe first on the Tin Foil Afro Show, and I have reliable resources. Behind the scenes, the East Coast and West Coast was joining up to do a huge distribution deal, that they were going to compete in the space of all the large companies, and then all of a sudden, all of these guys got cases on them. Suge Knight got put away, and I know everybody, yeah, he's the big guy, and he's muscle and all this other kind of stuff, and he's bullying, he's hanging, he's throwing some people out the window. I mean, I heard some outrageous claims, but what you don't hear behind the scenes is that Prince donated a lot to activist communities. Michael Jackson, and I wish some of these people and some of these organizations, now that they're gone, come out on record. And I know these organizations, I just don't want to out them here on this program, but I hope that they do and say, you know what, we did get money, but here's the problem. If they say they, hey, we got money, then all of a sudden you're going to have Uncle Sam knocking on the door and say, you said that you got $1 million or $2 million from so and so and so. Did you pay taxes on it? So it's a difficult thing, but I do think people need to know that the celebrities don't really turn their backs on some celebrities. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say these new artists. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like I don't even know why Umar is struggling opening up a school. He should have several schools. With all these sports players and all this money that a lot of these athletes and sports figures and entertainers have, they need to figure out a way to get the money to the people. That's all I'm saying. You know, I don't know how you feel about that, German chocolate.
Are they interested? So I see a lot of stuff. This is just my opinion, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, although you say you did a comment about that, although you said that these people denounce the industry and did this or that and donate or Michael Jackson if he's all. I'm not diminishing their work. I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, when people they want to be famous, they are open to join this kind of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is you are from the maybe it was not your experience, but my opinion, when people they want to be an artist, they are open to sell their what people would say their souls to the devil. Yes, they will just see in front of their eyes the way how to get into onto the stage to make money to be famous and everything until they come to the point that things will not be the way how they expect because so ego starts playing. This is how I think. Yes, because when I'm no one nobody, I'm open to go to this supremacist in the industries because it's controlled by a certain group. It's a fact. They are the ones who have the networking, who will invest to a certain point in these people, although they have their talents, right? And once things doesn't work in the way how they want, and they became famous, they made a lot of money, they start doing that. And I true it's something that is real or not, because when I'm not satisfying a situation, I start to denouncing.
Mm-hmm.
It's that fair.
Right.
And another thing, when you talked about these folks, artists or what's the basketball players when they don't support the so-called black people or the masses, I really think it's not the intention. Yes, these people they work and they think as individual. Okay, if I will be successful with something that is for me, they don't have this kind of mentality in general, and it's not just in the United States. A collective mentality, yes, to achieve power on a certain level. Maybe they also don't understand how it works, how the world is divided, and if you are an employee from these companies, because they don't help, because they cannot be connected to certain folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they will lose their contracts. It's just an example. It's not from the United States, but I don't know, but it's a celebrity, the place where I was born. She is a very vulgar lady, and she played the role like dancing, shaking her ass, and this kind of thing in a very vulgar way. I would say like a clown, right?
Mm-hmm.
For different groups until she started to change her way. She went to the university. She keeps an ignorant Negro, but she started to talk to herself. And in that reality, she declared she's a conservative and right wing or something like that. And the liberals, they are against her. What is the difference? Yes, before she was shaking her ass to the liberals, yes, like a clown, denigrated the black race. And now that she wears another kind of clothes, she decides to learn how to speak better, to have such a manner. She keeps enslaved, but just because she's not playing the role of the liberals, they start to attack her. She lost a lot of contracts, yes, for advertisement for certain brands that are very famous there. So these people, they are not free because they don't control anything. They are an employee like me. If I go public on the street and start to protest against something here, I don't know, white supremacy, I also lose my job. I'm an employee. These people, they are also employees.
Well,
What are we expecting from them?
well,
I don't know.
well, I think that's why they have to figure it out. You know, it's sort of like if you're a house Negro, right? And that's all okay. We're on a
This is
plantation,
what they
right?
are.
If you're a house Negro, you have to figure out how to get certain things to the people in the field. Like if they need bandages, somebody got hurt, or somebody wants to escape. You can provide because you as the house Negro, as somebody who is a gatekeeper, somebody you have access to things other people don't have access to, the resources.
Yes.
They don't know who you are. So I think it's it's something to be said when people like Prince or Michael Jackson, with their level of reach and influence and power, whatever it is. And I want people to understand the context. That's why I showed the financial paradigm, so that people understand that although we think that they're multimillionaires, they made people billionaires. There are people who are billionaires based off of their art and their artistry. So, while they have everybody looking at, oh, look how successful he is. Look how successful we made him. He is still considered a slave, or he's still considered,
Yeah.
poor compared to the people who made billions, who had zero talent, and all they did was become like some kind of middleman for their art. And one of those people who were notorious for that was Tommy Mottola, and he had the nerve right after Michael Jackson died, and to get on a show like it was like an NBC, I think it was with Matt Lauer, and really talk about all of Michael Jackson's unreleased music. You talk about gangster. This was gangster. Now you remember everybody the previous videos I showed you. Now this was a video now after Michael Jackson died. Check this out.
And the now unreleased recordings of Michael Jackson. The King of Pop is said to have left behind a mountain of material. Music executive Tommy Mottola, who worked closely with Jackson at Sony Records for 15 years, considers himself the gatekeeper of Jackson's catalog. Tommy, good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning, man.
Before I get to the unreleased material, you released a statement when Michael Jackson died. You said he is the most talented person you ever worked with. That's high praise.
I absolutely feel that way. I mean, when you look at every dimension of his career,
Look at the cooperation with NBC, Sony Music. Look how and NBC is very powerful. They have stations all over the world. Everybody knows NBC still today. And then you have the CEO who he was at odds with, okay? And now he gets on this platform and says, oh, he was just the best, and he was incredible and all this. But when he was alive, he didn't give him a fair shake. So this is like his slave master.
But this is a fact. It's not like it is a fact. The point is again, right? We know, we at least here who are watching this for show, right? We know how these people. It's like politics. What do we expect?
Yeah, but that's why I want to be able to show people, because we have a problem where we forget.
Yes.
You'd be surprised to this generation. People don't know some people don't even know who Michael Jackson.
Oh my God.
People who don't know who he was. They may know one or two songs or something like that, but they don't know, his story. They don't know the backstory. A lot of people. These companies are still around, and when we don't know our history, we set our young people up to make mistakes. Like I said, once again, everybody's focused on Diddy. Everybody's focused on, Jay-Z, all these other artists and stuff like that. But before them, there was Clive Davis. There was Tommy Mottola. There is a legacy here that if we don't connect the dots, we'll feel like, oh, these are the people who originated criminality as it's related to the music industry. And no, these are the real gangster. It's gangster when you can get up on an international platform like a NBC right after the guy dies and talk about how you have a mountain of his unreleased music that you control.
Whether it's the songwriting, the singing, the performing, the blending of rhythm and blues and pop into his own language, the dancing, the videos, the cutting edge videos that define the video age and really put MTV on the map. Michael Jackson in total was the single most talented person I've ever worked with.
So for all the years that he's putting together these albums, clearly there can only be 12, 14 songs on an album, and he was recording more. So these other songs are somewhere in a vault. Can you characterize that material for me? Is it great material, or did it not make the cut for a reason?
Well, for the 4 albums that I was around for with Michael, there was always over-recording. 12 to 14 songs would end up on the album, just as you said. There would probably be anywhere from 25 to 30 songs recorded. Those songs are still in the can, unreleased.
You've heard these songs.
I've heard a lot of them. I've heard many of them.
And
yes.
so what are we going to learn about Michael? What kind of music are we going to hear for the first time when these come out?
There are hidden gems. There are hidden gems in these songs. At the end of the day, the decision was Michael's, what to put on the album and what not. That doesn't mean that the songs that were not released were not as great as the hits that you know. So there could be a whole new life just from these songs alone.
What about the financial life of that? Is this the property of Sony? Is this the property of whatever record company he was working with at the time? Is this the property of the Jackson Family Trust?
At the moment, it's still the property of Sony, to my belief.
And so financially, does Sony reap the rewards of that, or does the Jackson Family Trust really?
Ultimately, Sony and the Jackson family, because the Jackson family will receive royalty income from the sale of those recordings.
And you remember what Left Eye said about the royalties, right?
Right.
The percentages is low. See, but so you have to understand, and hopefully people got a little education here on the Tin Foil Afro Show, a little bit about what the behind the scenes of the industry. Folks, do your own research, as we encourage you to do. It's almost time for us to get out of here, in fact, but I want to just give a huge shout out to Miss German Chocolate, who's up early in the morning at 6 o'clock there, and now going on 7. And
7 is right now 7. And just a last statement. It's important for people, at least young people, try to be artists. It's very ingrained in the American society that they pay attention what they are doing, because in the end of the day, they will just complain, or they will be put into the jail, or they will be assassinated. Yes.
Right.
So this is what you said. We are in a kind of situation, all areas of activities, that we forget our history. And Michael Jackson is something that happened, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. He died, right? So, and we forget. When you
he died in 2009.
Yes, said that people, some young people, they don't know who Michael Jackson is. It's very problematic. Yes.
Yes. So, hopefully, folks, you learned a little bit today. And hopefully this information will protect you. And folks, don't forget to tune in to the Tantrum. If you are artists or an emerging artist, you can definitely protect yourself by educating yourself and informing yourself and tuning in to the Tantrum Artist Management Show. That's on Tuesday from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And continue to listen to our program here on midnight. And it is called the Tin Afro, the Tin Afro show. So Tin Foil Afro Show, check it out. I'm Mr. Simon Says, at least for tonight, and I'm joined by Miss German Chocolate. Oh, don't forget, tomorrow we have the Mix Show. Oh man, the Mix Show tomorrow is going to be the Meathead Music Show. Is going to be off the hook. The Mix Show that we're going to do from 9 to 2 o'clock is going to be off the chain. We're going to revisit the Halloween special. We did a Halloween special a few weeks back, but I'm going to do some remixes of some other Halloween songs, some Halloween classics, and set to house music. And that is from 9 o'clock to 11:30. And then after that, the legendary Sonny B. Sutherland will be playing from 11:30 to 2 a.m. And then from 2 to 3 o'clock is going to be Meathead Music. So that's right. Join us tomorrow and keep it here. Keep your smart device closely connected to the GoPro Radio Network, because this is going to be your one-stop shopping for information, news, music, and entertainment. We're growing, and we're growing because of you. Continue to like and share our content. Visit us and visit the Tin Foil Afro Show on our YouTube channel. And until next week, we want everybody to stay safe, stay strong, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and understand and know that you are enough. All right? And thank you so much again, Miss German Chocolate, for joining us and making the show, what it is.
Thank you.
Logic is an enemy and truth is an enemy.